Okay. Hey everybody! Welcome to the end of the rainbow. How's it going?
I'm
your
Courtney,
new GM.
your dungeon master.
Your
I'm significantly less
vampire
attractive, darker.
Together.
Courtney's
place is
actual
wild.
nightmare of all of us talking on top of each other. We are.
It's okay.
1, 2, 3, everybody talking to each other.
I'm fully counting that as the intro.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome. Hey, this has been Eat the Reich. It's a beautiful, wonderful game system by.
It's a love story about small
by
fairy
Howard.
animals who
Yeah.
discover the power of friendship and community. Oh no! Hey, it's Cosgrave.
Yeah, mainly we killed Orkborg. You have Orkborg.
I do have.
Oh my gosh!
We bought it at the same time.
Look at this. Look at that stuff.
This is also by Grant Howitt, by the way. So anyway, he's
shout out
amazing.
Grant Howitt.
Up in this house. Go back his Kickstarter if it's up now. I want to play that tarot game real bad.
Ooh, Cameron,
Somebody-
you and I are gonna talk.
Somebody get him to agree to come do an interview with us because we all love him so much. And you guys would have seen it a while ago, but he also wrote Adventure Skeletons, which I ran as a live stream in September.
So far away. You ran so far away.
He's brilliant. Also, big fucking kudos to Courtney's first long form campaign with Streaming Rainbow. Yay. Dude, you gotta take it. You gotta take the accolades.
Gotta take it like a dick line.
Take it right on the dick
Take
line.
it right
guys.
in the dick
Find
line.
that dick line of success, Courtney.
Hand job of glory.
I-
Let's go.
No hands.
2 for 1. Let's go.
2 for 1, baby. Did
What
anybody
other-
imagine that the first time we all four would play together it'd be this raunchy and gross?
Yeah.
Oh,
100%. Also, as was mentioned, finally the blue balls of will they, won't they between a character of Cameron's and a character of David's fucking finally happened.
Probably the
had
least
to-
likely pair, right?
There's
Maybe, I
been
don't know.
sexual tension with like everybody. I mean, Anoush and Halfthor in that first season.
Mhm.
Now, I mean, who knows? Yelena could be down. Who probably not, but who knows? Weird flirting with
Tez and
Ez and your monstrosity.
Yeah, Waterloo Sunset.
Waterloo. God
Waterloo.
damn. Could not remember Waterloo's name. I have blocked it out of my memory.
It's okay, he died.
He's an ego death.
Spoilers.
That's ironic because they got blocked out of their own memory.
Yay!
Hey.
Anyway, we're here to
shout
talk
out to
about
Lantern
Mange.
Cove. Yes, we're here to
Okay.
talk about Manger Paris,
Right.
not about all of the super cool shit that all of these lovely people do.
Stick around.
It's all about me, guys.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna
Right.
say so many nice fucking things about you, and you're gonna hate it.
Fuck
I
yeah.
really
Yeah.
fucking will.
Yeah. What was your least favorite part about running this book? Go, Courtney.
Well, okay, so that kind of jumps ahead. I did have a couple of questions written out, but that's totally fine. So my least favorite thing about like watching APs is combat. Eat the Reich is 90% combat. It's all fucking combat. And there was a point before we started recording and like I ran Revamped, which was so much fun. It had a fucking blast. That cast was amazing. Mayor Marinov walked away with a little bit of a crush on a couple of people. I'll never tell. But
I'll
like
tell.
it took a lot out of me. Like I was emotionally drained. Like I had an emotional hangover for days. So when it came to like being like, yeah, okay, you got to get the energy back to run this, and it was a struggle. And then I was like, you just have to do it. So put it together, did it. It's been so much fun, but that's just because like the energy that all of you bring to it is like so great. Like I think I've laughed more on these recording sessions than I have in a really, really long time. But it's hard to keep the energy up for it. And I don't know that I succeeded the whole time. I tried, but I'm not the kind of person that shies away from mistakes or failures. So I think that's just a part of growing. So if there's anything like I personally feel like I could do better, that's just a learning point for me to move forward, or something that I know to veer away from in the future. So yeah, I don't know, what I didn't like about it, it takes a lot out of you to keep the energy high for like consistent combat.
Now, do you feel like this combat system is a true like combat system? Does it feel like as like do you like feel the same way about this that you do watching other AP combats?
I have to say I haven't really consumed much Eat the Right content. Like I listened to like a podcast or two just to sort of like get the feel for it at the beginning. I certainly don't. Like, this game is built to be a power fantasy for the player. There's no adversarial like relationship between DM and player at all. You want your players to succeed, because if you didn't, you would just be a really fucking horrible person. Like, that's not the story that's being told here. You want everything that you put in front of them to be absolutely fucking decimated. So I don't know that it's like a true combat system. The numbers can get a little janky and weird sometimes. Like, there are scenarios that happen where a threat is eliminated before the objective, and often that's okay because they have reinforcements. But then you have something like the vampire hunters that you fought. They're a solo fighter. They don't get reinforcements. You wipe them out in an area that's not going to be seeing new combatants, and then your objective is kind of just sitting there a little bit useless. And then the flip side is the same. Someone can wipe out the objective immediately. And
Who, us?
I don't know. Then it just leaves like the whole area be like, well, what do we do? Well, you're going to just continue to fight through the things that are there, so it can get, because there's like a resource management to this game a little bit too. Like, you need to, you know, be able to heal yourself in, like, you're not using spell slots, you're using the blood mechanic. So yeah. Did I answer your question? I feel like I talked a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
My
It's just
only thing with the combat, because I've never played this system at all. I don't think, I mean, Sarah obviously has. Cam and David, have you played this yet, or played?
Not really.
Not really. So, it's, as somebody who is, when it comes to combat, it's, so we've obviously played a lot of Fate, and Fate is very similar, but I have the same problem with Fate, which is, especially with APs, you don't want to step on the people at the table. So there's a lot, for me, it's like I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want to step on anybody's toes and jump ahead. So there would be it'd be really fun, not really fun. For me, I would have liked something akin to initiative. So it would be like, okay,
Yeah.
I can go now, but still having that opportunity to like tag team, like Flint and Cosgrave did at the end. That was really cool. Or even Chuck and Flint being like, take this fucking car. That, like, so being able to have that, that kind of handoff, but also having the comfort of saying, okay, I know when I can do something without being being rude as somebody at the table. And somewhere in the middle, and I don't know the answer to that. There might not be an answer to that. It might just be a matter of like, yeah, that's kind of a thing that comes with it. So I don't know.
There are a few other systems that do like the no initiative, like Monster of the Week. That's just whoever has a thought goes, and that can be really intimidating. Like, I think there is an intimidation factor to it, because you're like, well, I need to think of something. But you don't really have, like, in D&D, you have the people's actions before you that kind of set the battlefield for you a little bit. But this is just, it is a free-for-all. And that, I think that for the right group of people, not that this was the wrong one, but, like, I think there are going to be a lot of people that really sink their teeth into something like that, where they can literally just do whatever the hell they want to do.
The theater kids are going to go fucking nuts for this one.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. You're right. I think it's so interesting, and like, I love how like driving it is, and I really felt like no threat or like anticipation throughout like the entirety of fighting these things. I'm just like the entirety of like going through the combats of the game, and towards the end I had 2 injury points left before I got to do my like last last dance thing, and I was kind of like, I was living for that. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna kill myself. I want to get to this last stand kind of moment. And it got to a point where I was like, oh, okay, like there was that one point where I was like, I'm gonna use shoot. I want to use shoot. I want to just roll 1 die and see what that does. So it was less about like, I'm afraid, like I have to do everything possible to win because I'm afraid like these combats are going to get too overwhelming, and more of like, oh, this is just an interesting mechanic to like tell a collaborative story, and the collaborative story is drinking Nazi blood.
Yeah. 100%. How did it feel to be playing, like, we didn't really talk about this, but all of the characters, especially like, so Flint, Chuck, Cosgrave were all main game, so all in Eat the Reich. They're all pre-made characters, and then Sarah playing Jane, that was a character created for the one shot that I ran. So that one shot is revamped. The creator is Jamie Bernstein. Please forgive me if I've said that incorrectly. They did a wonderful job on all of that. But playing a pre-made character, how did that feel for everybody?
I have found more and more that I love like pre-made characters. It's very akin to like getting a role in like a play or like a film or something like that, which is kind of like what I've like am used to. Like having to like create a character and like come up with a backstory can be like a bit daunting, especially if you're not like in a writer mindset. But having all of like these stats and all of these abilities and kind of like even the character art already there for you really lets me focus in on, hey, who is this person? What is their like objective? Like how do they act? And lets me kind of like sink my teeth into just playing a game. Like I've been playing a lot of Yezebas, shout out to Possum Creek, and they also do pre-made characters, and it's a lot of fun just to like explore these people that you don't have to like worry about like creating like the best or the most interesting backstory for. It just really is a lot more freeing, especially when I'm like, okay, what kind of voice does this bat person have? Fine, it's Kate and Candy from Wreck-It Ralph.
So good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, mine is a little bit, I also really liked having a pre-made character, partially because I think of all of us, I don't play as many games as everybody else does. So I get a little nervous about playing a new mechanic, or playing something that is different from what I'm used to, which is silly because I want to play more games. But I've got, like, I also want to look like I'm not stupid. So not having to also, and everyone here knows, I don't make characters to be like optimized. I don't believe in that shit. I completely come to character creation for the vibes. And Chuck was a vibe. So, but having that pressure taken off of like, you have to understand the mechanics of the game and the purpose of the game to make the character the best you can in the most entertaining way. That was stressing me out. And then I was like, oh, thank you. A gift. Thank you. I get a man with a cowboy hat and who eats corpses. Love it. And he was too in love with his guns. So, yeah. That's absolutely how I felt about it.
Nice.
Hey, how did Cosgrave feel?
I was grateful because I was pretty busy during this time, and I did not prepare mentally at all until about 5 minutes before we started recording the first session. So, I think conveniently for that. But I'll be honest, I am a writer, so it did at first feel like, fuck, who am I supposed to do, right? Like, I don't, like, what the fuck am I? There's not enough direction on this one blurb. That's why I was a bad actor. I needed too much direction. And so it was I just felt like unsure at first, but then as I was like, oh, there's freedom in this. These are just like guardrails, broad stroke outlines. It felt cool to flesh out, right? Like, and then like just looking at Cosgrave's art, like adding in the Romani element that had like a tiny bit of heartfeltness towards the end there, and the describing the scarf that Jane gifted, and his big dumb belts. It was just pretty. It was. I would say mixed. It's definitely not something I would want to do for anything more. I would say it was nice because it was like the least self-inserted. So it was like this game is literally I come, we play this game, and then the game's over and it's gone, right? So many of my other characters, because they are my Athenian children, if you will, regardless of how much self-insertion there is into the character, there's a part of me that like lives and dies with them, right? And so when the game's over, you're still like, oh, what would should I have done this, or like what's next session or whatever, right? This game, I say bye, and then Cosgrave is gone, right? I'm not living in a sex dungeon. So there's ups and downs. It definitely has its pace, or it has its place. Sorry, amongst the type of game I want to play. Definitely more in the future, though.
Yeah, I've played a lot of games with pre-generated, pre-made characters, and my experience with it is that if you manage to pick a character that you vibe with, it's golden. And if you don't, it sucks. I've made that mistake before where just like, well, I want to go outside my usual stuff, so this is a character I wouldn't normally play. I'll jump into that, and then just didn't. My inner motivation didn't jive with the character's motivation at all, and it sucked. But Jane was easy to jump into. She's the cool girl that I always wanted to be when I was a teenager, and just sort of looked on from afar. Ooh, so cool.
You and Jane are equally as badass, I would say, if I may.
Also a time traveler.
Time traveler.
Yeah, somebody said Motorola's are new and old, but actually they are making razors again.
I know, it's new and old. Even the existing ones. I think pause for a second so Cam can get audio back.
Sure. Bringing us back to End of the Rainbow, Mangez Paris.
What's that question? What's the question? What's the next question?
What's the next question? I had a couple here. We kind of jumped around a few of them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of been answered. That one has... Or I guess, is there anything that you particularly struggled with this system? Like...
Oh yeah, I cheated so hard. I didn't understand what special was.
Oh,
and then
okay.
this last, like, I think I had like conceptualized it was like, oh, Flint doesn't have a special. Okay, that's fine. But Flint's special was 3 blood with melee attack. So I was only supposed to get 3 blood off of a critical success.
Okay,
So if I used a crit to get the blood, then I got 3 instead of 2. And I was like, oh, that makes this character a lot more balanced. Because I was like, fucking 3 blood every time I take blood? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like constantly at 10 blood when I really shouldn't have been.
I've run this game before, like off stream. I ran it for a few friends separately just because I wanted to get a bit of a feel for it before I brought it to Streaming Rainbow. And one of my players was playing Flint, and Flint is very limited in their items. Flint is a little bit limited. Like, they're very bestial. They're not necessarily like a very cognitive character. So the person who was played him wonderfully, but they didn't hit those huge dice pools that you were getting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this game is beautiful. It just takes a moment to actually sit down and read and actually like figure things out. But even DMing it the few times that I have, like there's always something that I've missed a little bit. So I think that's totally fair with the system. Like with any system, really, don't be afraid to make mistakes in TTRPGs. Some people are assholes about that, but they really shouldn't be, because everybody's human, and them's a lot of words, and maybe I don't want to read them, you know?
They are a lot of words. I will say, like, Flint is I get why Flint doesn't have a lot of things, because like if the main point in a fighting game is to fight, and your highest stat is to fight, like there's not a lot of other things this dude is gonna do. And he doesn't need a lot of like items to, because you got a 4 in Brawl they do, which is absolutely insane. I'm like, yeah, I don't even have to say that I'm fighting. Like I don't have to like weasel away around getting like a 10 dice pool. It's just fly, throw something big, maybe put a demon heart in somebody. But yeah, I didn't like. It got to like points where I was like, at the very last session, I was like, I don't have to be spending blood at all, like to have at least 6 dice to roll, which is wild and so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really did. On like the flip side, did enjoy how loose like getting dice are. It is a lot of fun to be like, oh, okay, this can like kind of fit what this says. I like that it's very much a like a category or like a vibe check of like what you're doing, and then you kind of just like build upon that to get dice. So that one was like really intuitive to me, and I really, really enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, let me fit in as much talking as I can to get dice.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like you're fixing to do something?
Yes! Absolutely. I'm like, justification machine, let's go.
No, that, like, I am so trained on D&D's action economy. So I struggled with that because I'm thinking, oh, well, I can't do, like, attack, bonus action, bonus action, whatever. So, I was constraining myself at the beginning, and then I was like, wait, how can I get the most dice? Because fix is Chuck's 4. So I was like, how can I be using this fix more? And again, when you're Southern, you just fixing to do shit, and Courtney is way too kind.
What does that stat even mean?
I'm sucking up for all of the games that you DM for me, each of you.
Hey, listen.
No.
I
No
also
gods,
have
no
a
masters,
cool tool belt.
no quarter, no prisoners.
I'm following in Cam's footsteps of using tools inappropriately to do damage.
I want you to know that all your sucking up efforts have meant nothing. I'm going to be equally as mean to you, maybe even more, because I've become better as a DM in future games. But I still care about you guys. That being said, I am right in line with Laura. I was like early on. Cosgrave is also maybe the weakest character because they don't have a 4 or most balanced or something. They don't have a 4. So yeah, and I so I had to become more creative towards the end to get to those 7-8 die pools. And it was fun to do that, though. It was very... I feel like this game helps to play as a DM, because it makes you think on your feet in a way that incorporates these elements. I like that. So DMs out there.
Yeah, this is
snatch
definitely a
up
DM
copy,
game.
Play with your homies.
Yeah. If we did this again with the 5 of us, but we've all played together for over 2 years in some form or fashion. I would have done more above table of like knowing each other's stats, because there were things that like Chuck could have done, like again with that fix there, I had thoughts in my head about it, but then Jane called in on a Motorola Razr to have the Hindenburg disaster, and what do you do? So yeah, but
yeah,
You know, I think,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You know what I really wanted throughout this was trackers, like a threat tracker, an objective tracker, another threat tracker, etc. Because there was a lot to keep up with, like trying to keep up with those numbers in my head and keep up with, okay, here's what I'm going to do, and keep up with, okay, here's what this person is doing while I'm listening to this, was hard for me. And that's why I had to keep asking, okay, what are we at now? What are we at now?
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
So if there were trackers, man, that would have been just so much less processing power that my brain had to do.
I don't know. I'm part of the Rowan Rook and Decker Discord. I think a couple of people here are as well. So they have like channels separated by their games. People in the Eat the Reich pages, they've done exactly that. They've made like physical trackers for blood. They've made physical trackers for threat, so on and so forth, items. Like, I think this game really lends itself really well to like a lot of like tactile representation for things. Similar to like how you can get yourself Fate coins for when you're playing Fate, which we keep bringing up because we're all very excited to start playing a Fate game again very soon. But yeah, like I think that is something that a lot of people do struggle with, because there's been clearly so many people that have come up with inventive ways of actually doing that. And I did my best. Like, obviously we falter here and there, but I did try and like bring it up often, which made me feel a little bit like a broken record, but it is absolutely necessary to kind of know what's happening going forward.
You definitely do good. Because I am with Sarah as well, where I had to ask every time, but there was a few times where I didn't have to ask, because you did a really good job of, it felt like, between every turn, reiterating, okay, this just happened, so this is what we're at. And that was very helpful.
Yeah, that's especially important when you're playing with 4 of the most chaotic motherfuckers ever, because God only knows what happened round per round.
I gotta be honest, I didn't fucking didn't keep track of anything. I was just like...
I saw Lara's pen moving and was like, we're good.
100%.
It was really hard for me to go like game to game and be like, okay, how much blood do I have? Like, what items do I have to keep track of? Which is honestly why I really liked the Demon Heart at the end, because I was like, oh, it's a one-off. If I get that back, it's a one-off. I don't have to keep track of that.
Yeah.
I really enjoy. I would like to I want to take this game and play it with somebody else and be the game master, because the thing I did love is that you just roll. For combat, you roll every single time. Like, you know what you're doing. Like, there's nothing to think about, which I love. So it feels like GMing that seems a little bit easier than playing, as far as that's concerned.
Yeah. yeah, I think like this game, like I said, it's really built to be like a player, like a power fantasy for the player. You have so much narrative control. Like there's a lot of pressure. In a way, there's a lot of pressure taken off my end of things. And then I'm anxious person. I've said it a million times. If you've been here before, it doesn't matter. Anxiety over here. But there was something for me that was a little bit like I didn't want to put too much story into it. I did want this to just be shits and giggles. And I think if anything got too heavy, that it would just kind of detract from that. But for me, there was kind of like a story lacking. At some, like, there was never any mystery what your mission was. You knew where you were going, you knew what you were doing, and that's wonderful and beautiful. But it there's like a lot of rails put in place for the GM, I guess. And I did make changes. Like there were things that I moved to different locations. I added threats here and there. Like I did make some changes along the way, but this is a beautiful game that I will play very casually. Yeah, I don't know. It was a good first little thing to put it up, but I'm looking forward to maybe putting out something that's a little bit more me in the future. Which what that is, I don't know, but
give us a sneak preview.
You're so just give a sneak preview because you're so blurry.
Oh,
All a secret.
Yeah,
I'm
mysterious again.
so mysterious.
Yeah, I don't have a sneak preview for you. I don't know.
But
It's okay.
You've got a second to think.
I guess all of you have to just keep watching all our content until Courtney blesses us as the GM.
Every single
It's the only way.
See,
Speaking
oh
of
my God.
content, what was everybody's favorite moment in the game?
The dick line.
The decline.
That was such a cool. I feel like I don't get to play with Sarah as much as I would like.
Mhm.
And that was a very cool moment to. I feel like I'm often terrorizing their table. And so it was cool to. I just feel like I stressed Sarah out so much as the GM. I feel like there's very often times where I see a look on their face that I've had so much in that seat, and I'm like, damn, I feel bad for this. So it felt good to team up with Sarah to do that to Courtney. And it was so, it was like a very, and like I was a little worried. I was like, I don't know, maybe this is a little, maybe we're finding the line.
It was truly a
yeah,
hazy
Sarah
moment
took
for
that.
me.
It felt like my personal version of that photo of Dwayne Wade throwing the lob back to LeBron, and he's like this.
Totally.
And Sarah's LeBron dunking the ball. Somebody mean that.
Yep. I get it. I got that reference. Basketball.
Sports
Yeah.
ball.
Sports ball. There were too many, like, it's like Courtney said, there was so much fucking laughter and levity with this shit in a way that I think all of us have been needing. Again, it's been a while since all of us have played together. Especially with something so lighthearted as curb stomping Nazis, which is always good. But I this is part of the story too. I really enjoy that Hitler is easy to kill. Like that was like, it's yeah, great. Don't make him cool. So being able to just have that moment to be like, I'm going to do something unspeakable to you, and I'm really happy about it. But no, just like the all of the impeccable accents that we all did. Truly, we are all on point forever. In the Discord, thank you to everybody in the Discord who gave me Southernisms for Chuck to say. Katana specifically, thank your partner, because there were some truly amazing ones. We've just lost our game master forever.
Trying to make an uplery.
Your camera is so tired. It's like, I'm sweepy.
Let's let Courtney figure this out, because it's been a solid 10 minutes, and I feel like it might be getting worse.
Yeah.
It is getting
Moving to
blurry.
try and fix it.
I forget.
Yeah, so favorite moments.
Favorite moments,
Bob
all of
Reed's.
them. Killing Hitler
Killing Hitler.
with my tongue and baby birding with Cam. There we go.
I loved that.
So bad.
I also really loved not being able to destroy the Eiffel Tower. That was really funny. I love failing. The one time I got to shoot, that was fun. And Kaiju Flint was some of them. Oh, and then fucking Cosgrave.
I was gonna say, I think finding
Cosgrave.
right. There's been so few guardrails. I feel like if you're walked into a room that's completely dark, that you used to, or you turn the lights off and it was really bright, and you can't fucking see anything, and you're reaching out for the bed and you keep thinking, oh, it's gonna be right there, and it's not, and you're touching the light. That's what it felt like trying to find Courtney's parameters. And to find them twice, one being the Eiffel Tower with Cam, and two, when I just said, anything's a dildo if you're brave enough, and Cosgrave backs up 10 feet. And I feel like that's super apropos that it was Cam and myself who found the outside boundaries.
It wasn't even really like, yeah. You at one point you said, I'm gonna run at Flint's ass, and I went, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cosgrave backs up 10 feet.
Oh,
runs.
Goodness. No. Absolutely not.
Manger something.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Manger that.
Manger boutique.
Manger booty.
I super loved when in episode 2 when Sarah was like, I'm just gonna call in a bomb strike. I'm like, okay.
Super
Do it,
casual.
babe.
Super cash.
What is that, like 5 plus?
Cash.
Chuck was
Yeah.
like, I was gonna do something, but all right, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I loved every moment of Jane, because it was, every moment was like spending time as that cool girl. But definitely the standouts were when I got to call bombs down on things. That was always.
I'm glad you got to reprise her.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Sarah's
will-
one bad German accent too. Was
Oh my
I was gonna
God.
say, I love
It was
every time
so
Jane.
good. It was so. You guys don't understand how long we've been playing with Sarah, and she's so good. I mean, listen, I'm sure there's inaccuracies, but for the most part, at least usually you keep
consistent.
you're consistent, and that accent was an
just-
abomination.
Yeah,
It was
Here's
so
the thing.
bad, and it was so good.
it wandered
It's-
straight into Scotland.
And it's okay because it's not Sarah doing a bad accent, it's Jane doing a bad accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Cosgrave's Hitler impression was spot on.
Why was
It was
your
so good.
Why was your
It
normal
was
voice?
too good. Why was your German Hitler voice better than Cosgrave's actual voice?
Because I'm stupid, Cam.
It's so
Why?
funny. It's so good.
I saw the look on Cam's face and it almost broke me for a second. I was like, I gotta just push through it. I can't spend any more. I think I said it at the end of the recording where I was like, I have to call my therapist and talk about how I impersonated Hitler in the choices.
Hitler does not have a voice, but Cosgrave as Hitler has the perfect Hitler voice.
I
Yeah.
also love the idea. David kind of said it, and I caught it. Just the idea of Hitler broadcasting a were dog just
Kicking its own
kicked
ass.
by himself because we're all vampires, and therefore, although no, were we all Hitler? Still,
Oh
We all
shit!
did.
Yeah, it looked like
Yeah.
4
We did
Hitler
fight that
clones
dog
as
just
Hitler.
bodied
Yeah.
many
it.
Hitlers fighting a werewolf.
I think I downloaded this Doom mod.
Oh, so that means at the end, Hitler spits black blood into Hitler's mouth.
Some weird Picasso bullshit.
Insane.
Some Dolly, just I don't like it. We're a weird Dolly painting.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
Hieronymus Bosch.
Yeah.
We're like if Hieronymus Bosch did cubism though. That's the level of fucked up we're doing.
Well,
There
that's
was
this
this-
gauche,
Oh no, I'm not
right?
gonna.
Yes,
Do
you
Do
are.
it.
Come on, Sarah.
No, there was this kid's book that I used to read to my kid, and it was called "Oh Hieronymus Bosch," and it literally was like just the art of Hieronymus Bosch, and then it would like zoom in, and it was like, this bird appears to be eating its own hindquarters. Oh, Hieronymus Bosch. And pages and pages of that.
Immediately going to eBay to find that book.
That's a beautiful book. I
As
love
someone
that. I
who
wanna read
knows
that
your
for my
kid,
children.
that explains a lot.
Wow. Amazon delivers quickly. David's already reading it to his kid. Oh, Hieronymus Bosch.
Oh, Hieronymus Bosch.
Oh, in the style of Dr. Seuss.
Do we have any final questions or anything?
I don't know, man. Much like this entire game, it's been pretty brainless for me for this. I loved it so much. I had so much fun. Like I said, it was entertainment for me the entire time. It was just, how does everybody make Courtney laugh?
I think this was a great example of playing a game. Like it didn't
Yeah.
every time like we came to this table, it didn't feel like, oh, we're filming something, we're doing a performance. I was like, I gotta play this game. I gotta play this dumbass game, and it's really awesome. Because I think that's like when like speaking to kind of our like, hey, helping people play, like helping people make like AP content. Like I think that's a lot of things that people forget when they make this type of content. Is what you're doing is you're showcasing a gameplay system. So if there's not like game and fun and joy in it, then you're really missing the point and you're not doing the system or the game justice. And I had a lot
I've
of fun.
been thinking about that a lot lately with the campaign we did just before this. Has been going through editing and now even planning other stuff related to it, is the idea of an AP often, and it's like there's a scale, right, that you want, and the one I just did is as many are, is way more like produced, right? Not necessarily planned in like game actions, right? There's not necessarily coordination, but there is a lot more. You're trying to hit certain notes, right? Like people's brains only want to watch like a specific and expected kind of story arc, right? A specific expected, like you expect introduction, conflict, increasing tension, climax, resolution, right? Our brains, and like some small variations on that, but like as APs, that's all we're really doing is that in a added in between improv scenes, right? And some are much heavier, like Sophia. And then with this, it felt so much cooler, like what Cam was talking about, to this is just vibes. This is you hang out with your friends every Friday night anyways, and instead of playing Cards Against Humanity or some other like card game, like have some fun killing Nazis and making stupid voices. And talking about dick lines and time travel and southernisms for a weird Venom cowboy. So yeah, I that element of this was very refreshing, and it's really cool, and I'm really proud to be a part of this group of people that can produce that range, right? I mean, again, and then we're gonna go right back to, historical drama,
Super lighthearted and fun, guys. Don't worry.
yeah, stuff
We
that I'm
have
going to
our
be
moments.
sitting with my wife at 1 a.m. being like, I don't know if Halfdoor's doing the right thing.
The answer's both yes and no. Forever.
The answer is, did he listen to Yelena?
Yelena and David's wife would get along. That is for sure.
My wife's so awesome, I married her twice.
Yeah, I guess speaking of, keep an eye out on our channel for the trailer for Hallie's Children, Ticonderoga, the return of Sarah's amazing story that kicked us off. God, feels like forever ago, but it's been an amazing journey. Terrifying Cam is being scary. Like, that's normal.
That's actually just what Cosgrave's room looks like in his sex club.
Yeah, fully red light. So great. And yeah, just stick around. Check out our live streams. We're hoping at the end of the year, we're going to be having our typical hangout with us, hear about the state of the union, basically, for Streaming Rainbow. So, keep an eye, join our Discord, because again, we would love to talk to you. We love our community. We love each other. We want to just share ourselves and our games and everything with all of you. And if you join, then we get a lot of our players from our server, because we truly have the best people in our server. So again, major kudos to Courtney. We're so excited that she is one of our game masters. We're excited to see what she does next. One of us. She has to. Canadian, you're gonna have to take some compliments because you're great. And then next week, episode 1, Hallie Schulden, Ticonderoga. Watch us all of us actually come back in a completely different vibe. It's gonna be some emotional whiplash, and we're here for it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess until then, goodbye.
Mangez that dick line, y'all.
You mangez the fuck out of that dick line. It's gonna go.